What's up, everybody? I'm Clayton. Welcome back to Ages of Film. And today, as you can tell by the title, we are reviewing the movie Predator from 1987, directed by John McTiernan and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger as Dutch and Carl Weathers as Dylan. Hope you're all doing well wherever you are out there. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thanks for being here. To all my new subscribers, thanks for hitting that subscribe button, joining the pack. Greatly appreciate you and glad to have you here. Don't forget to smash that like button. It's another way to help out the channel, get the content out to more screens. All right, so getting into Predator. Giving my thoughts, my opinion, and an overall rating of this movie. Just a reminder and a disclaimer, this is just my opinion on this film. No need to be upset or offended by anything I have to say about it. Let me know your opinion in the comment section. All I ask that you be respectful. And with that being said, let's talk Predator. Just a rugged, manly, macho film, man. This is a movie that, regardless if you like it or not, it's a movie that I think every guy should see at some point in his life, just to bring out that masculine energy, because this is a movie that definitely feeds that masculine energy in us. So yeah, definitely a macho movie for sure. My thoughts on it. Do I like it? Do I not like it? Where do I land with Predator? I like it. I do. I like it quite a bit. Getting into some of the positives with this film. One of them is the story. I think that the story here is a very engaging story. I'm interested in the story. It's a group of special operatives that are on the secret mission assignment into some uncharted territory, some ambiguous territory, something that they're not really sure about. They're not given a whole lot of information about what's going on here, but they've been selected for the job. And as they go on this mission and on this operation, some things happen along the way that they were not expecting, and they encounter this creature that they were not expecting, and it gets pretty good. It gets pretty good. So the concept and the story here is a story that I'm interested in. I'm interested in going on this journey with these characters and going on this ride. So the story for me is a positive. It's it's not necessarily like a story that's, super deep or philosophical or complex with a bunch of layers to it. It's a simple story, but it's an engaging story. It's a story that interests me. It's a story that I want to watch play out. It intrigues me, right? So this story for me is, like I said, the story is a positive for me. Also, the tone and the atmosphere here, love it. The setting and outside, just in the wild, the woods, the forests, the tone here also just kind of this. You just kind of get this eerie tone throughout the film, that something's just kind of off a little bit, and it just kind of puts you, makes you a little uneasy throughout the film. You're not really sure what it is until that predator shows up. But yeah, I like the tone. Just kind of an eerie tone throughout the film. But yeah, the world building and the setting here are just really, really strong positives for me. I like that world. I like the world building here and the setting and the environment. All that works for me. I also like the action here, directed by John McTiernan. The way that he directs the action, I think, is very good. It's if you, it's kind of an immersive experience. I think if you can invest in the story and with these characters, the action is heightened because you feel like you're there experiencing this action. It looks good. I think it sounds good. I think the action is very well directed, and there are some great shots during the action sequences of just the characters with their guns, and the action itself, just really good stuff, man. So yeah, action is a positive for me. How it was shot and how the action was directed, all that worked for me, and I would consider all that positive positives with the film. Um, Also, I think the visual effects, they leaned heavily on practical effects. This is 1987, right? So this was still in the days where you had to do pretty much everything practical. Directors could kind of touch some things up with some computer animation type stuff, but most everything had to be built. This was, back in the days when you had to be practical. You had to go practical effects with most things. So, yeah, the visual effects, the practical effects here look good. The Predator bodysuit and design looks amazing. Just such an iconic look of the Predator. I love it. I love the look, the design of the Predator. All of it just looks really good. Even the the blood of the Predator, the green blood looks really good. All that was done practically. So yeah, the visual effects and the practical the effects and look and design here was all really good. The score, really enjoyed the score. I think the score was good because it was effective in what it was doing. I think it's kind of enhanced the experience, the overall experience with the film. Scenes, tension building scenes where they're trying to build tension. When the score comes in, that the score that they use, I think, helps build that tension. It's effective in that way. The feelings, the certain feelings that McTiernan is trying to get you to feel throughout the movie through the score, I think is effective. So it's not necessarily some iconic score that stands out among films and something that you're just gonna always remember, or a score that's gonna be playing over and over again in your head after you watch the movie. But it's still an effective score. It does its job. It does what it was intended to do in the experience, the viewing experience of the movie. So for me, that is a good score. A score that is effective and does what it was intended to do. So the score here for me is a positive as well. The characters, we got to talk about the characters, because this movie is it's a character driven film. Some movies are story driven, where it's more about the story, and you don't get a whole lot of like character growth or development. It's more about the story or the experience. And then other movies, it's really character driven, where the story isn't very deep, But that's because they're really trying to make you invest with the characters, and the characters are what kind of drive the film. This is, I would say, a character driven film. I mean, they really put a lot of stock in these characters, very iconic characters, very rememberable characters. I like these characters. I think the characters are well written. They each have their own kind of personality to them, something that they bring, that some type of charm or charisma to the screen. You invest with each of them, and their personalities. Part of that is also in the performances of the actors, the way that they play their characters. They each bring, some energy and charisma to their characters that, make them memorable. When I think of Predator, I don't just think of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think of Carl Weathers. I think of Jesse Ventura. I think of Shane Black. I think of the helicopter pilot. Like, I mean, it's that well written from a character standpoint. Like, the characters here are very well written. They each have their moment to kind of shine, and they each have layers to them. You feel like these characters. Like, by the end of the movie, you feel like you knew who each of these characters were personally, even though it's not a long movie. It's not even 2 hours. But because the characters were well written and well acted in the performances and well directed, you really invest with these characters. So the characters here were strong positive for me. I love these characters. I love going on this ride with these characters. And you feel like, when, at least for me, when I watch this movie, I feel like I'm actually bunkered down with these characters, and like they're hanging out with them. And I enjoy that. That's the kind of character writing that I want in film, where it feels like where I feel like I'm there with the character, getting to know them, and hanging out with them. So, and this movie gives me that. So I do think that the characters are a very strong positive for me. Not just Arnold. Like, people think of Arnold when they think of Predator, because he has such a large personality, that just kind of commands the scene, that any scene that he's in any movie, really. But it's not just Arnold. Like, if you look past Arnold at the other characters, they're all likable. Like, the movie doesn't just have to ride on Arnold's shoulders. If you take him out of the movie, you still have other characters that you can enjoy and invest in. So, yeah, the characters here are strong positive for me. And the performances, I thought Arnold did a good job. Carl Weathers does a great job. Jesse Ventura, as Blaine does, he does a great job. So yeah, part of it is on the performances, by the actors themselves, just knowing how to play those characters, and then part of it is also how the characters were actually written and directed. So, but yeah, overall, yes, the characters overall strong positive for me. And it also, another positive I have is the Predator himself is just a really cool character. It's kind of, I mean, obviously later on we get Alien versus Predator, two Alien versus Predator movies. So I guess you could kind of put this in the same world of Alien. And it is an alien. Like, technically, this predator creature is an alien, of of a certain kind. But yeah, it's just a really cool character that has, some cool features. The invisibility, or I guess it's not so much invisibility as much as it's total camouflage. I think that's how they actually explain it in the movie, is that it's just total camouflage. It's not necessarily that it turns invisible. It's just that it has the ability to completely blend in totally with its environment and is like camouflage in. So yeah, that's a cool ability. I like how through the film it was the Predator itself was directed by McTiernan. How you just see POV shots from the Predator through his eyes, and you see the infrared, and you kind of hear what the Predator hears, sees what the Predator sees. It kind of has that Jaws type of feeling, where how Spielberg directs the shark with POV shots, where you're down under the water seeing things from the shark's view. You get some of that with the Predator, the actual Predator creature himself in this movie, where you see and experience certain scenes through the Predator's point of view. And I like that. I always thought that's a cool feature. And what it does is it gives you the Predator without showing you the Predator, because then when that reveal happens, it makes it allows you to build to the reveal of the Predator, because the whole point is that mystery in this film. It's not a film where you can just come out right from the get-go and show the Predator killing someone. That loses part of the story. Part of the what makes this film good is part of that is in the mystery, the waiting for the reveal of what this creature is. So yeah, this allows you to do that, and I think it was handled and directed really well. The reveal was handled well, and the build to that, still allowing you to have the Predator there with POV shots without actually losing the intensity of the reveal by showing you the Predator, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. Overall, guys, really enjoy this movie. As far as negatives go, it's not really a lot of negatives. There's not really anything that I have negatively that really stands out. I think for negatives, there's a couple of minor, I think, issues for me that is really more in the script department. There's a few things that I think could have been probably written better from a dialogue standpoint. Like there's certain scenes where characters will say something that I just don't know I would buy these characters or saying certain things in this situation. Some very iconic lines, get to the chopper, there's Jesse Ventura has some great lines in it, but there are some really well written lines and well written dialogue. But there are other moments where I think they lean a little too heavy in the macho dialogue writing. That's just like, I don't know if that fits this particular setting or situation. Excuse me. Also, I think that the movie does lack some character growth and character development. It's a character driven film, but we don't get much development with these characters. They're kind of flat characters throughout the film. And flat isn't necessarily a bad thing, but in a character-driven film, you do want to see your characters be rounded a little bit. You want some layers there. You want to see them change in some way. See them, be rounded. And I don't feel like you really get that in this movie. A lot of it, how these characters start, their personalities, how we're introduced to them, kind of stays that way throughout the film. They don't really change. they're put in certain situations and we see them learn a few things along the way about specifically about the predator creature, but them as a character, they don't really change much. So I think the film probably could have been a little bit better written in the script. The screenplay itself, I think, could have maybe given us a little bit more of development with at least Arnold's character or Carl Weathers' character. So that would be, if there was some negatives for me, that's kind of where it would be, is kind of in the screenplay of the film. But other than that, man, I don't really have much else negative to say about the movie. It's a great film. My overall rating for me would be 4.5 out of 5. Great film. I love it. Definitely, it's very rewatchable for me. It's a film that when I think about it, it makes me want to watch it. It makes me want to go back and throw it on and watch it again. So definitely has that rewatch value. Super fun movie, very entertaining, and it does have an emotional effect. It gets me excited when I'm watching it. I feel the adrenaline. I feel the excitement during the viewing experience. So yeah, that's my overall rating of Predator. 4.5 out of 5. Didn't quite get to that 5-star tier just because, again, I feel like there's a few issues in the script department that probably could have been tightened up a little bit more. But overall, still just a great movie. One of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. But let me know your thoughts and opinion on Predator in the comment section. Do you agree with my rating? What would you give this movie? Anything and everything you want to let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time, kick it and rock on.